Hello, this is a little short, low effort kind of video for the second channel on how I made my Gunboats video. So, this is something that I kind of wish that the other TF2 YouTubers did, um, because learning how to edit videos on YouTube is both great and terrible at the same time because there's a lot of guides on how to edit like regular footage like for like a movie or whatever, but there's not a lot for specifically making gaming videos. So I don't know if I'm going to do this after every upload, but I'm going to do this, or I'm going to try to do this as often as I can. So that way, if you're learning to edit, or if you're trying to learn how to edit videos or whatever, and you like the way that I edit my videos, you can go ahead and like basically kind of copy what I've done and, learn to edit that way. So to start off, I edit in Davinci Resolve Studio. I have the paid version, um, but you do not have to have the paid version to do, I think, pretty much anything that I do. There are some things that I tried to do with this project that were paid exclusive things, but I didn't actually do them in here. For example, these like these soldiers right here, I originally was trying to, fun fact, these are actually not the first versions of these. These are the second. So I originally made these up, um, in SFM as well. But the thing was is I wanted to use Davinci Resolve's magic tracker tool, which is awesome, but isn't as good as a green screen. So I ended up remaking it and then putting it into a green screen map on SFM and uploading it. So let's start off here. So this right here, all this is right here, this intro, which I really like, um, is just a text plus area, and then I just use the little thing here. You can see like as this goes left and right. So I basically made keyframes to write on the thing here. It's not that big of a deal. But what's cool here is that in DaVinci Resolve, you can basically have a setting where the composite here, you can set this to an alpha, and then whatever you put above it will become yeah, exactly. You put that in the foreground, and then that's going to be here. So this is just this video right here, except I just copied it, pasted it, removed the audio track, put it over here, and then they kind of overlap just a little bit. So that way, when it zooms out, you can see that it's still lined up correctly, if that makes sense. Anyway, so you go through here. These right here, these are just transitions. So like, and if someone's watching the video at like 0.25 speed, they're gonna be able to they'll know, but like basically no one else is gonna know because it doesn't really matter. But I like to have, like, if I'm having multiple objects come in, usually I like to have them come in like in a different way. Nobody is ever going to notice, especially now that I'm trying to make my transitions shorter, because I realized before that basically all of my transitions were 1 second or to 2 seconds, which is way too long. For it a bit more snap, unless I go into a spline editor, which I don't think I did for this one, um, which it's not something you have to worry about. Making it shorter and snappier is generally has been better for me. And another thing in here is one issue that I was kind of like, I was obsessed with transitions for a while, and I just would put a transition on everything. But now I've realized that unless I'm like introducing a new topic or trying to show the passage of time, I really shouldn't have a transition. I should just have a cut. For example, here where I have the cross dissolve because it's the next life. So let's keep going here. I'm trying to think of anything interesting here. Do 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 do. Yeah, just another blur dissolve because passage of time. All right, so this is probably the first thing in here that's interesting about DaVinci Resolve, which is nice. So in DaVinci Resolve, you can just put these adjustment clips, which are, you can go into your effects over here and then just search adjustment. You can also just click the toolbox and it'll show you everything. So in these adjustment clips, you can put in any effect that you want onto it, or anything along those lines, and just stick it on and it's good to go. Or you can do different things, like if you want to like change the color, the color grading of this, or like highlight an area or anything like that, you can do that with an adjustment clip rather than doing it on the clip itself, which is really nice because if you ever need to change that later, you can just change the adjustment clip without having to deal with keyframes in the regular video. So this is pretty simple. Oh, actually, I made this for this video. So I ended up finding a video on how to like make these little outlines on like PNGs or any actually image. Here I could put it on one of these guys. So if I go over here like and put this on like the blue soldier, maybe, and then go to effects, outline thickness. Oh, maybe not. Well, I did it earlier, or I thought I did, but I guess not. But either way, so I actually ended up making this little outline fusion composition. Basically, all it does is whenever I drag in like a PNG or something with a transparent background, it can be here. Actually, let me just show you in Fusion. Oh wait, hmm. Which one did I make this on? Open in Fusion page? Can I open this infusion page? I cannot. Okay. Well, well, you'll just have to take my word for it. Basically, I made a little fusion composition to have the background to be able to control an outline. If any of you are interested in me just uploading this, that's fine. As a side note, I'll bring this up later. So these titles over here. So some of these. So I bought a text pack from Patrick Sterling, and which is like Sterling Supply Co. And yeah. And so Patrick Sterling, you'll see one more example of. For example, actually, I think the next. So like this is one of them right here. This I'll get into in a minute. So this area right here. Okay. So I was really happy with this. So this master progress bar is actually from Patrick Sterling. So I had something like this before for Dispatch, if you watch the RGL YouTube channel. And except I had to do it manually and basically mark the beginning and starts of this. However, with the Patrick Sterling's plugin here, which you can get for free, by the way, and you can adjust this. It's just, you literally just drag and drop it. So it's dynamic, which means that, like, if I wanted to, I could put this over here, right? And see, like, how it fills up like that. But I can also shorten it, and then it'll fill up just faster, which is awesome. And it's way better than what I had before. So I've used this a lot of times now because I started using it for Dispatch, and then I've used it in here. So the only other thing in here is that there's another fusing composition in here, which is just like the blinking pause and play. So this is actually nothing like super interesting. Basically, all I did here was, so you just get an image or whatever, a polygon. I just made a triangle for the play button, and then the background, which is just choosing the color. From here, I merge it, because I was originally having like something else in here. It doesn't matter. This merge you could just remove and just have it go to media out. So what's interesting here is if I go into the keyframes here, so you just have to go into the Spline Editor, and I just had it so like there's, you know, 30 frames it's on, and then it turns off, and then it's 30 frames on, and then it turns off. You get the point. So this is actually only like 3 keyframes, and I just clicked this loop button right there, or I selected all these, clicked this loop button, and then it just loops forever. And that's basically all I did. So I can go anywhere, and it'll always just keep doing this. No matter how long I go or whatever, it'll just keep looping. So yeah, and then you can all here. Did I mess this up? I might have messed this up. Here, let me Control Z. All right. Anyway, so the only thing here as well is that I just did this right here, where there's like a step in or step out. Where if I do that, here, let me polyline. I get rid of you. So the level here is the only thing I was messing with. is so that way, because if you get rid of this, actually, let me see if I can remove it, make it linear or whatever. So like normally it'll just slowly come in and slowly come out. I don't know why it's not showing it right now. But so what you have to do is just put in these like steps, and then that way it'll full on in, oh, and then full out, if that makes sense. Now let me undo everything that I just did here. All right. Anyway, so that, and then it's this exact same thing for the pauses, by the way, except just a different image. Actually, that's why I think I had them merge, because let me open this in the Fusion page. So, oh, did I open the wrong one? Oh, it's this one. Open in Fusion page. So, yeah, this one, it's kind of the same idea, except I just had made two rectangles. One is just a copy of the other, except just with a different like X value, like a different center, and then it's the exact same thing. Let's see here. Oh yeah, this little this is a default, like this little lines and stuff on the TV or like the VCR. Here is just, it's just a default effect in Davinci Resolve. Let's see here. And then from here, is there anything else interesting in the other video, rest of the video? This is just a soldier I made in SFM with the exact same adjustment clip as earlier, pretty much, with the blur dissolve. Let's see, anything else that would be interesting? Text. This is the same thing. Okay, so this is actually interesting. So I had spent for the other soldiers probably like, I don't know, 8+ hours, maybe longer, of just rendering for a few seconds of because SFM is incredibly unoptimized. So like it just takes forever for anything. And I was rendering in 1440p because I wanted to green screen it. And as you can see here, it's still not perfect. Someone will probably notice this in a video, but probably won't notice the others. And which annoys me a little bit, but I have to accept that no video is going to be perfect. And so, yeah, so basically what I was doing is, since I had spent so long, I instead for here, I basically just made this little really short, it's shitty, but this really short SFM here. And so this is the whole thing right here. But I made it so that way it loops, so I just was able to copy and paste it over and over, and no one would notice. Let's see here, anything else? This is a really simple thing in Davinci Resolve, so I might as well show this. So this little zoomed, like this thing right here, this is literally just me like going on the jump.tf website and scrolling up and down, or just scrolling down, except all I do here, which this is what like Funk and like Uncle Dane and whatever do, all you have to do to make it like look more like cool like this is just change like the position, and then like the pitch and the yaw. So like the pitch just here does this, and the yaw does this. So let me undo that. So that's pretty much all that is. Oop, I was undoing, trying to make sure I undid everything. So let's see here, and I think that's pretty much it for like actually interesting things. Something that's you might just in case you are using Davinci Resolve and you run into this issue. So text plus nodes actually don't have a natural like shadow on them. And I've been trying to avoid using stroke as much, like instead going with like this, because it looks nicer. So what you have to do is you have to go down here and get a drop shadow effect, and then drop that onto here, and then you can just go to the effect and mess with it here. So all I do here is I turn off the blur on the shadow entirely, make the shadow strength to the maximum, and then just put it pretty close, and it looks good. And then, from there you can just copy and paste it over and over, and then just change the text in it, and it's good to go. Let's see here. Let me go back to the beginning of the video. Oh, this song right here, by the way, that plays here. I could play it, but I have it muted, so that way it's not like super annoying. But the music that's playing here is actually made for this video. I did not make it, but Tristan of Neverdon and Rumspringa made this song. I don't know if he has a YouTube channel or anything for me to link. I will ask him. Um, but if people are interested in like either downloading this song or maybe, or him upload, maybe he'll upload this later on to his own YouTube channel or something like that. If he does, I'll link it. Anyway, so let me go back. This is probably the part that most of you are mostly interested in, which is this section right here. Because everything else is relatively isn't that bad. The hardest thing about most of this is getting relevant gameplay to what you're talking about, which is by far the hardest thing to do, I think, when making a TF2 YouTube video, because you have to because a lot of gameplay can be like applicable to multiple things. And so you'll use it for one thing, but now you can't use it for something else because you can't just repeat gameplay over and over. Thankfully, playing like multiple seasons of Sixes, Gunboats was something I could relatively easily make a video out of. Um, but there was still stuff I had to get. Like at the very beginning, like this section, like I played hours literally just to get this clip for it to be relevant, and it was ruined because, like, for example, right here, this would have been perfect. Which is why I was so mad, because they're pushing the cart, and this pub, I was rolling this pub. It was great, but there's a medic like on this hill that the scout could have run to, which why I was so mad. Is because if I grabbed this health pack and then attacked the people that were like just on the cart a second ago, like it would have been exactly what I needed. But the scout takes it and I'm pissed, which is why I left. I thought this was funny, and I thought it was really funny, so I left it in. Anyway, all right, let's go to the part that people are probably mostly interested in. So this right here, this section, which I've uploaded onto Reddit as well, if you are on Reddit, except I did a mobile version. I'll explain that later. Actually, I'll just leave that out. It's not really relevant. So basically, all this entire section right here is made using two things. One is fusion with this health bar, and then which is why you'll see like these little why there's like stacks here, um, and demos inside of TF2. So basically, I went into a Serve Me server and went ahead and recorded myself doing all these things. By the way, this right here, this background is literally just this image. Because and this image is literally just taken this clip. If I if I go to open this in Fusion, because I'll have to explain this in a second anyway. If I open this in Fusion and I bring in oh wait, wrong one. Give me a second. Let me open this one in Fusion. Okay. So basically, if you look here, if I remove this clip is just the background. Like that's it. Um and so all I'm doing here is I am taking the making an ellipse. These two are the exact same thing, except one is slightly bigger than the other one. They're in the same location, if I remember correctly. Let's see here, center. Yeah, they're in the same location. One is just slightly bigger than the other, so I can get this little extra like effect, so that way it's not just weird on the outside. It's not like nothing, so that way the like it's easier in the eyes for the viewer. I just made it yellow because it pops out on a black background, and then I just merged them together, and it's good to go. And yeah, let's see here. But so all this really is just an ellipse. I just did that, stacked it on top of this background here, which is just that. This is just a freeze frame, except I put on. I made this. I think I just used one of the open effects here, just to make it black and white. Or did I? No, no. I messed with this in this page. I basically just turned the what's it? I turned the saturation all the way down. Let's see here. I changed the contrast. I remember that. Here, wait. Oh no, wait. Oh, there we go. Color page. Because you can change like the temperature and everything else in here. Like if I wanted to make this cooler or warmer, which is how I did my thumbnail actually. And let's see here. I do not remember exactly how I did this, if I'm gonna be honest. But I remembered I just turned it all the way down. I just made it black and white. It's pretty easy to do. Um, and just went through here. And then basically everything from here is just copy and pasted. The only thing that's interesting left here is that these health bars. So what I did was is I lined up the the demo, like, which is me. So when I get the like this footage like this of like the soldier jumping around, this isn't like on a like a replay server. All I'm doing is I'm going into a demo file, turning off my HUD, and then just recording. And so that way I can do it relatively quickly, and then while I'm like doing like getting like the demo, um or like getting the gameplay, I just record myself doing it, and then I sync it up with the audio. There's actually a tool in Davinci Resolve that I haven't actually used before where you can actually sync the audio together, which is nice. It'll do it automatically for you, which is awesome. But again, I've never used it before, so I just synced up all the audio and it was good to go. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. But the health bars here again, which is why it looks good. And when I was syncing up by audio, so that way I know that you if you would think if you're a video editor, you would know that with this up here, you would think that this would just be the big screen. So all I did here was let me open this in the Fusion page. Literally just took a polygon here. I just zoomed in on the health bar and then just made a little I just made this polygon go around the health bar, like created a mask. And yeah, and that's it. So these are like super zoomed in, which is why if you actually like look hard in the video, they look kind of shitty, but that's because it's like this big, just blown up. And yeah. And in hindsight, actually I should have brought down these ellipses just a little bit, but oh well. So also these ellipses are also technically like pixels off from each other, like 1 to 2. Because yeah, I don't because like I was recording in like different spots, so I had to like line them up as best as I could. Um anyway, so let's keep going here. Ooh, no. And then over here, it's pretty much the exact same thing, except I had to this is actually like a freeze frame. As you can see here, there's this little speed icon. And so you can just create freeze frames and stuff like that in DaVinci Resolve really easily. Because if I remove this, you'll see that it's just nothing, and that's because I'm paused. And so I had to get a freeze frame covered up until like this is actually has like me in the game, and then it works out. But yeah, that's pretty much the entire video. I'm trying to think of anything else that should be interesting. Oh, this right here. This and the little pull down sound that I have right here are just stock, like royalty free, um, you know, sounds. Like this is just a projector screen. I just went out in here and I think I just used one of the like an audio effect here, which was the pitch, and I just made it. I just messed with it until I thought it sounded cool, and that was basically it. Um, but yeah, that's the entire video. Besides the gameplay, which if people want to ask about in the comments, you're more than welcome to. But I don't think that I'm gonna be able to like tell you too much besides just, oh, I got this in a pub like right here, or in right here. But then like this is from which you can tell like RGL stream. This is Froyotech versus Ascent before Ascent. Like this game killed Ascent. In case you didn't know, Ascent's not around anymore in North America, at least. The biggest team besides Froyotech in North America is Witness Gaming. So yeah, but everything else here is just competitive clips. Trying to think of anything else that would be interesting. Oh, this. Okay, this is actually somewhat interesting. So this version of Snakewater, you can't tell because last wasn't actually changed, or like was barely changed on the newest version. This is actually the old version of Snakewater. I had to go get in the old. So I have another PC that I've literally. It's just been sitting next to me for like a year because I wanted to make a video on how TF2 would run on a computer from 2008, which I would title it something clickbaity, like "How does TF2 run on a computer as old as it?" or something like that. And I had the old version of Snakewater on there, So I had to get that PC and then boot it up, go ahead and which I should really make that video already because I've just got like a 500 gigabyte SSD just sitting in that PC that I could use for literally anything else. Anyway, so I went grabbed Snakewater, transferred it over to here, replaced Snakewater in my PC or in my TF2 folder with the old one, opened the demo, and then did all that. It's not like a huge hurdle or anything. It's something anyone could have done, but it was really annoying, and I really didn't want to have to do it. But this right here, I just remembered doing this. This was, I think, 3 seasons ago. This clip right here, um, maybe more. And I just remembered that because this match right here that's going on was casted by Jimby, which is Dr. Hacks 88, and Finale casted this. And I remember them making them like yelling out like that I was using the panic attack, and I really like using the panic attack on Soldier. I generally like it better than the shotgun, but that's a whole nother conversation. So yeah, let's see here. Anything else that's interesting before I send you off? Because the text really isn't interesting. It's just text that I basically just paid for the most part. Some of the text that I messed with myself, or I guess a good chunk of it I did mess with myself, but it's nothing like super hard or interesting to do in Resolve or any other video editor for that matter. Um, yeah, I didn't do any like crazy zooms or anything in here. I think that's about it. Yeah. Let me just do sweep at the beginning. Yeah, that's the entire video. One thing that I will say, is that I'm going to probably try to do for the next video, which I'm still working in the Half Zatoichi video, but it's a slog to work on because right now half the video is just me building Uber, or like that was the old version of the video, and like me being like, yeah, this has utility, which makes it better than any other any other unlock that Soldier has, except for the escape plan and the disciplinary action. But so that was like its downside is an upside, and after that, it has the second biggest swing speed besides the disciplinary action on Soldier because it's a sword. So you'll win most of your melee fights, and that was basically the whole video, and it was like 3 minutes, over a minute and a half of it was just me building Uber, and it just sucked. So I'm going to go over it on demo as well, which will kind of have the same story. But I'm probably going to make the video more focused on demo night which is funny because that was what I was trying to avoid in the video, was talking about demo night because everyone thinks of it as just a demo night weapon, but it's far more interesting or people will be more interested in it as like the demo night part of it, even if because traditionally speaking, the weapon is pretty boring. But so maybe I'll make a video again on the Liberty Launcher. If you're new to the channel, I've made a video on the Liberty Launcher 2 times, but I already have something written out. I don't know what maybe I'll do a video on the Conqueror. I don't know. The music that I used in the video is just Through the Trees from Halo Infinite, Follow Molly from Deep Rock Galactic, In Amberclad from Halo 2, and Hateno Labrador, the Hateno Lab in Breath of the Wild, which I think was used in an Uncle Dane video, so most of you already probably recognize it. And this song right here was actually used in the Zero to Hero SFM, which is why I used it here because of I was talking about Junk Academy. And I think that's it. I already talked about this. All right, that's all. If there's anything else that you'd like to see or have questions about in this video, just let me know. I'm not going to edit this up or anything. Maybe I'll just change the audio track because I'm recording here in Reaper as well, which is where I record my audio, actually. I don't record it straight in Davinci Resolve, but you can. Actually, I unless you're like messing with EQ and stuff, which you're probably not, I would probably recommend you to just record the audio in Fairlight. It'll probably save you time, and I think you can mess with EQ in here as well. I'm just used to Reaper. So yeah, overall, I recommend Davinci Resolve. It's free. Just like, yeah, don't use Windows Movie Maker. Anyway, goodbye.